New York City, the land of endless food, insanely priced items, and even more insane drivers. This is where my friends and I went to spend a weekend for some fun and adventures. Our weekend was packed full of delicious food, cute shops, fun activities, and even more food. This was the itinerary for our trip. If you want some ideas and reviews of places to check out in this massive city, stay tuned. Day 1. On our first night, we drove down to an Airbnb that we booked in New Jersey. Places to stay are much cheaper if you book outside of the city. The place we rented was $536 for 2 nights, as opposed to $600 to over $1,000 for places in the city. New Jersey is a pretty close commute to the city. We drove to all of our destinations, and the commute from our Airbnb to the city ranged between 20 minutes and 40 minutes, depending on traffic and the time of day. During our first evening there, we decided to eat at Kura Sushi in New Jersey. This is a revolving sushi bar. It was my first ever experience at one, and I was so excited. It was essentially 24/7 entertainment while eating. I was staring at the revolving bar the entire time just to see what would come around. For those of you revolving sushi bar virgins, you of course pay for what you eat. Most of the plates are the same price, $3.80 at this specific location, but there were fancier ones and extra side/main dishes that you could order using a little monitor that's on each table. And you could order any of the dishes that come on the revolver too. So if you missed your timing to grab the one you wanted, or the ones on the revolver were all taken, no worries. You can order it directly to your table using the monitor. They keep track of your bill by counting the number of plates you insert into a little side bin. If you're trying to split the bill amongst many people, then you can stack your plates next to you to keep count, and at the very end insert them all into the side bin. Or, if you prefer to keep things cleaner, then you can insert them as you go, whichever you prefer. When we went, they had a Dragon Ball Z themed prize for every 15 sushi plates you had. We ate enough that we got 2 of them. One of them had little stickers inside, and then one of them was a little keychain that came with a stand. The theme changes regularly. You can check out on their website what they have going on if you're curious. They had a ton of delicious desserts that I wanted to try, but we had decided to go to another spot for dessert afterward. I had to use every ounce of my self-restraint to not order one, so I would have enough room left in my stomach. Our next stop that evening was Daiso. This is a cute bargain store that sells a variety of goods. They have a lot of cute things for very reasonable prices. We walked around the store and did some shopping while digesting our dinner. I ended up getting my mom some soy sauce dishes since she always uses ramekins that are far too large for her dipping sauces. I also bought some strawberry milkata candy. We then headed to Nana's Green Tea in Koreatown. This is a relatively new and very popular green tea cafe. It had a cute, spacious interior and was jam-packed when we arrived. We went right in and ordered our food. Within 5 minutes, a line had formed out the door and down the street. We lucked out with our arrival timing. I ordered the matcha mochi parfait. I'd give it a 7 out of 10. I liked the top half of the parfait, but didn't love the jelly-like pudding that sat on the bottom. It was rather bland and had more of a jelly consistency than pudding, but I'd love to go back and try their strawberry parfait. After that, we headed back to the Airbnb. There, we partook in some competitive Mario Kart and Mario Party on the large TV that the hosts had. The couch that they had was also one of the most comfortable things my butt has ever had the privilege of sitting on. It was so soft, so cushiony. It's actually my new life goal to get one just like it now. It was that comfortable. Once everybody was up and about, we headed to a cafe close to our Airbnb called Cafe Peanut. It was a cute little shop in New Jersey that sold coffee, pastries, and sandwiches. We had coffee and breakfast there before heading out to New York City to meet up with some friends. We met up at the Genesis house to see Bloomtanica. Bloomtanica is a free physical and digital immersive floor exhibition. There was about a 30-minute wait to get in, but it was absolutely worth it. The exhibition was beautiful, and the 3D room was so cool to see. It was difficult to stop and take too many pictures since they ushered everyone forward frequently to keep the flow going, but you can definitely get some great footage. In the same building, they also had a bougie restaurant and a cute little library with a cozy sitting area. We continued our scenic adventures by walking around Little Island Park next. It was only about a 10-minute walk from the Genesis house. This is an artificial island and park within the Hudson River Park. It has these weird spinny chairs that are supposedly impossible to tip over, which we proved was incorrect. But to be fair, I don't think they expected someone to kick it with a very, very tall person seated in it. It did make for some great laughs though. Overall, it was a lovely place to walk around and enjoy some nice time outdoors. Lunch was at the Canal Street Market. This marketplace had a side dedicated to crafts, and the other half was a food court. There was also a little mini arcade area with claw machines and gacha machines. There were about 5 different food vendors to choose from when we went. From what I've heard, the vendors in this area change year to year depending on the time. My friend highly recommended the rice roll, so I ordered one of those, along with a Chinese crepe and spicy chicken with noodles. I think my eyes were much bigger than my stomach. I had to try all of the foods while I was here. The Chinese crepe was so good. It was my first time having one. All of the fillings meshed together perfectly for an amazing taste. Don't mind me over here cutting my crepe with a spoon. They didn't have any knives, okay? 10 out of 10. The rice rolls were indeed extremely delicious also. They were a bit bland on their own, but with some soy sauce, they were perfect. I'd give it a solid 9 out of 10. The spicy chicken with noodles was rather subpar. It didn't really suit my taste buds, but the peanuts in the dish were good. Probably more like a 5 out of 10 for that one. I was definitely stuffed to the gills after this meal. I was a little bit concerned I wouldn't have any room for dinner, but I prayed my second stomach would kick in. Partea was our next destination to partake in some claw machine action. At this location, the workers will reposition the stuffed animals for you. They make it as easy as possible for you to get, so we all walked away with a prize. I was gifted the cutest little Cinnabon onigiri ever. I named him Tony, and he now lives on my purse. I also got this cute sushi from a gacha machine. These are all the other ones they also had, but the one I got is my favorite. They also had a vending machine with mystery boxes. They had $20, $10, and $5 ones. I went for the $5 one and got a pencil case. My friend did the exact same one and also got a pencil case, so maybe they're all just various pencil cases, but you can go and find out for yourself. Or you can try out one of the higher tiered ones and see what you get. We checked out another nearby claw machine place called Sweet Cats afterward, but I think everyone was claw machined out by that point. It was a cute location, but we mostly just walked around and looked at everything. After that, we ambled around nearby shops and bakeries. I stopped at 3 other bakeries and stocked up on pastries. Asian pastries are the absolute best. I wish I had an Asian bakery near me, but alas, no such thing. We decided to go to 5 Senses for dinner. There was a wait to get in, and unfortunately, everyone had to be present for them to seat you. A few of us had gone ahead to get on the wait list, but it turned out to be in vain. We got seated very quickly once everyone had arrived though. We got a bunch of side dishes at no additional charge. I ordered a rice cake and dumpling soup that hit the spot perfectly. My food baby that spawned from lunch thoroughly enjoyed the meal. I may have been having some regrets that I didn't eat less, but I suppose I can say it was worth it. These are the other dishes that my friends ordered. I'm not going to attempt to say them all because I know that I'm actually going to butcher the pronunciation of many of them. They all enjoyed their meals as well, so I can safely say that this is a fantastic place to try out if you're looking for a restaurant in Koreatown. We tried looking for flavored sake at H Mart for an after-dinner treat, but couldn't find any once we were finished eating. Part 2 of ambling aimlessly around ensued before we headed home for the night. We wrapped up our last morning in New York by going to the Weekend Japan Fest. There were 2 or 3 blocks dedicated for Japan Fest with multiple vendors. Food vendors lined the street for several blocks though. You could find any type of food your heart desired. I tried my very first tanggulu, a Chinese hard-coated candy fruit. I got the strawberry one. The strawberries were ginormous, and they glittered so beautifully in the sun. if only the experience of eating it was just as beautiful. I was fully expecting to bite into a thin layer of hard candy and crunch it. Instead, I bit into a layer of hard candy and my teeth stuck. I legitimately feared all of my teeth would be ripped out. It was so sticky and adhesive. The taste was fine, but I could really only suck on the candy for fear of pulling out multiple crowns. In the midst of this dilemma, a random person came over and asked if she could take a picture for the festival page. Me, being the elegant human that I am, just stared at her not comprehending. So I stood there like an idiot, going, She ended up taking a picture of all of us, but I felt like she was really just after my photogenic tangulu, which is very understandable because it did look very gorgeous. I couldn't finish the entire thing, and I gave the last piece to a willing victim with the warning that his teeth may or may not get pulled out. I'm really sad because I really wanted to love it, but luckily there were many other foods to try, so I didn't go hungry. After exploring all of my options, I ended up getting some Chinese pancakes stuffed with various innards. My friends and I also shared an order of some dumplings. I tried the shiitake one, which was so yummy. My roommate got an okonomiyaki, which she let me try. The sauce was way sweeter than I had been expecting, but it was good. My other friend got some fried chicken. You can never go wrong with fried chicken. Near the time we had to leave though, my good mood was dampened by my increasing need to use the restroom. The first cafe I entered didn't have one. I then tried a Trader Joe's, and the bathroom was out of order. I ended up running to a McDonald's, which had a mile-long line of people waiting for the restroom. I made one of my companions buy me an Oreo McFlurry for the receipt, since there was a guard at the door only allowing people in the bathroom if they had a receipt. Relief was eventually found, with the bonus of a McFlurry. But man, fast food public restrooms in New York City, I'll just say I try very, very, very hard not to have to use them. With that, our trip was a wrap. We stuffed all of the pastries we got into a cooler, and then went on our merry way. We drove back home exhausted, and 10 pounds heavier after all of our adventures. I look forward to our next trip back to New York City, and I look forward to exploring new places again.